So if you decided to click on this video, I can almost guarantee you feel one of two ways. You're either thinking, I could probably start a YouTube channel, or like most, you're thinking, there's no way I could ever start a YouTube channel. No way. I'm here to tell you that I felt both ways recently, and I wanted to make a quick video to show you guys exactly why I decided to do it, and more importantly, why I think you guys should too. To help prove my point, I created 5 key takeaways on why I think you absolutely need to get going, but more importantly, why you need to get going now. So let's get to work. I know for a lot of you guys that YouTube is extremely intimidating. I know it absolutely was for me. It's not a platform that I grew up using. You know, as you guys get to know me more, you'll see so many reasons why I decided to start posting more to platforms like YouTube and other social media. It's important for you guys to understand that I feel the exact same way you guys feel in terms of hesitation. Part of what we're going to cover in this video is some things that I had to tell myself, some research that I did on why I got to get going, and more importantly, why I got to get going now. So to jump right in, point number 1 I want to make on why I think you should start a YouTube channel now is attention. For those of you with children can really relate to this, is I know at least for my kids, if it's not on their phone, then it doesn't really exist. When I was growing up, we would watch TV, listen to the radio. That's how we would consume our entertainment. But I know for my kids and more of us, if it's not on our phone, we don't have time to necessarily watch TV like we used to. Attention and eyeballs on a mobile device is key, and YouTube is now the #1 source in which people consume education and entertainment. So if you want to get your message out there, if you want to relax, if you want to teach people, if you want to help people, YouTube is now the #1 source for that. You know what really helped me get perspective on this whole digital world we live in is, for the first time, us creators, we're the ones that have the control and we have the authority to put out content that can be fed to people across the globe. Back in the day, that's not at all how it was. If you were talented, you needed to audition, or you needed to know a producer or have certain relationships, out in Hollywood. But those days are over. Now you could literally be in your office, you could be in your bedroom, you could be outside, you could put out content, and YouTube allows you to spread your message with the same distribution authority like the networks had back in the day to every part of the globe. And that's a huge thing that we need to get our minds wrapped around, is with a little effort, you can spread your message and have an entire world as your distribution network. So when you start thinking about that and you start putting it in perspective, it's easy and clear to see why YouTube is the #1 platform I feel I should base all my businesses on in the future. And more importantly, if I'm trying to create companies centered around me, it's the best place for me to create content to have more and more people around the world consume. So that leads me to point number 2, which is massive reach. Now, I know you think attention and a massive reach could be one and the same, but there's some key differences that we'll go over. We just talked about getting attention from people in all the corners of the globe, but with reach, what I'm really talking about is not just a geographic location, but the type of people that you reach in terms of age, demographic, ethnicity, religion, taking a deeper level into the massive audience that you wouldn't traditionally either A, go after, or B, target. A good friend of mine happens to be a musician here in Dallas, Texas, but his biggest fan base is in Japan. So without a platform like YouTube, it would be impossible for a Texas musician to traditionally have a fan base in Japan, because that's probably not a market he would target. But now that he's looking at the numbers, he's looking at the analytics on what part of the world is playing his music the most, who's engaging with his videos more and more, and it's a group of people, an age and a demographic in Japan. So that's part of the reason why massive reach is an important thing to consider when debating on starting a YouTube page. You may think that, hey, there's a lot of people that are already doing this idea or doing this concept, but what you don't know is there's people, there's pockets, there's communities around the world that are waiting for a message coming from you specifically. One of the things that you guys will notice as you guys get into consuming more YouTube content is you connect with different people. You connect with different vibes. Two people may be talking about the same thing, but you gravitate towards one creator more than another just because you like their setup better, or you like their sound better, or they make you feel better, or it's a man, or it's a woman. So whatever floats your boat, there's a group and there's a community specifically for you. So that's what we mean by massive reach. So point number 2, massive reach. My reason number 3 to start a YouTube channel is the shelf life. Now, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on traditional advertising over my career, whether that's newspaper, radio, billboards, even SEO and Google ads. But what's so interesting about the YouTube platform is it's a gift that keeps on giving. It never goes away. It never stops. Think of it like a ad that stays on the internet forever. Now, with traditional advertising, the second you stop paying for it, your ad goes away. If you stop paying for that billboard or that bus advertisement or even that radio spot, the second you stop paying, your ad disappears. Poof, gone in the wind. But with YouTube, it lives on the web forever in a way that you can start building content, you can start getting your message out there, but it stays on the platform. When somebody searches how to tie a bow tie, your video still pops up. I was in a wedding a couple years ago. So first thing I did was I went to YouTube and I pulled up this video for how to tie a bow tie. I was able to not only get a great instructional video on how to do this bow tie, but think of that one video that he made years and years ago that's still not only getting more views every day, but it's also still driving traffic to his business. So when you're thinking about YouTube and starting a channel, think of the shelf life. Think of how long putting content on YouTube, how long it lasts in relation to other media platforms. So reason number 3, shelf life. Reason number 4 to start a YouTube channel is multi-purpose content. I chose multi-purpose as my 4th tip on the reason I started a YouTube channel because, like many of you guys, I'm not a huge social media expert yet. I'm getting there. But one of the things I noticed about myself is I'm just the traditional guy that posts the obligatory once a year family photo at Christmas time just to let everybody know that you're still alive and you're still, breathing. If you guys can relate to that, go ahead and comment below and tell me how often you guys typically post on social media. And I'm gonna be making some content in the future for you guys maybe in your 30s, 40s, and 50s that may not post that often, and some tips and tricks that I use to get myself out of that rut and get into a system and a process to start posting some more. So either check out some of my other videos or subscribe and you'll see all my videos and content that can help you get out of that rut, get posting more, start telling your story more, and hopefully growing your business while you do it. Now, when I refer to multi-purpose content, it goes back to when I started doing research on wanting to grow my business and share my message. I was looking at all the different platforms and looking and studying on who the demographic is, what type of content really thrives on each individual platform. And what I noticed is if I created content on YouTube to create a process that not only saved me time, but still reached multiple platforms, I could do that. Now, let me explain. If I create a video, let's say a 10 or a 15-minute video on YouTube, I could then take 60-second clips or 30-second clips or 15-second clips and post those videos onto Instagram to then engage and start growing my audience on Instagram. I could then take my 10 or 15-minute video from YouTube and I could transcribe it into a podcast. And finally, now that I have subscribers and a community, not only on YouTube, but on Instagram, maybe even a podcast, now I can even create a group on Facebook to get all the subscribers, all the followers in one spot to where fans that consume my content on different platforms can now come together to share ideas, to share progress, and learn more from one another. So that's why I think YouTube is a great multi-purpose platform to get your business started, to get your message out there, to start pumping out content, because it saves us time and it allows us to squeeze the most juice out of a 10 or a 15 or a 20-second video. Reason number 5 you should start your YouTube channel today is the fact that it's future-proof. Now, no one can deny we live in a crazy world right now. We're learning different in school. We're working different hours, some remote, some in office. We're even forced to socialize quite a bit differently. What's important to realize is that when you are tied to a particular job, that job may not be around for so long. So you want to be able to start branding yourself outside of a particular job or company. I've sold multiple businesses in my career and exited multiple businesses in my career. And the one consistent thing that I found is when you're in a industry and you're focusing on that industry for years and years and years, you start to build an identity in that industry. You know certain people, you have certain insiders, you start to form a reputation inside that industry. We all have value outside of our 9 to 5. And what I'm trying to encourage people is that keep that value and share that value, but do it in a manner that you own it. Do it in a way that you can control the message and you can control your story and your experience. Let me put it another way. Let's say you're a teacher and you don't feel comfortable going and doing in-person teaching, but you still want to add value. If you start beginning to create courses online, if you could start sharing not only with your students that are in your class in your district, but now you can start creating a curriculum, right? Now that you have the experience, now that you know how to work the camera, now that you know how to work the sound, now that you have software that you like, and now you're able to share that with people around the world in other communities that maybe have never learned this subject before, and now you find yourself as an expert. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. We all have value outside of our existing businesses, our existing companies. Let's not lose that momentum once we make a shift in our life. So that's why creating content on a platform like YouTube, I think, is the #1 step to get started on that journey to where you're keeping those relationships, you're nurturing new relationships, and hopefully you're growing a business to monetize outside of a school district or outside of a boss or outside of an industry. You own it. You can create your own value and reach multiple people, maybe even in Japan. So to recap our 5 reasons to start a YouTube channel today, #1 is attention. YouTube is where the eyeballs are, and that's where you want to be. #2, massive reach. You have no clue who wants to consume your content, so don't force it. Put out consistent content, and hey, if you're popular in Bangladesh, let's go. #3, the shelf life. The beauty is somebody can be getting value from your content a decade, maybe even 20 years from now. So the shelf life is absolutely incredible. #4, it's multi-purpose, allowing you to save time by squeezing your content and building other communities on other platforms. #5, it's future-proof, allowing you to control your experience and your value. Let's go. Now, if you like this video today, please like and maybe even leave a comment below on some other topics that you guys want to hear me discuss. Now, if it's your first video watching, I have several other videos that I think you may be interested in, but if you don't want to miss any of my new videos, be sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, if you give advice, charge a price. Until next time, peace.